Hello everybody, Turban here, and we'll be continuing Planetarium. I'll still never get that name right. We'll be continuing off, where we left off was, we were talking about a book. And let's see where it goes. No kidding, with everything being automated these days, everything's a lot more stress-free. Yeah, I felt a little strange about that, and when they gathered as a family and enjoyed supper, the fruit of their labor, it felt like it was doubtfully meaningful. It was a wonderful feeling. I wouldn't want to take that away from anyone. She was surprisingly empathetic. How her emotive eyes drifted to the display in front of her. Sounds like you got a lot out of this. You said it was fiction, yeah? Historical fiction, yes. Actually, it takes on the form of a mentor, from the perspective of a lawyer reflecting on his childhood. And it also brought up his relationship with an impregnable girl living next door. Is that impressionable? No. The tour aroma, you see? Oh, it's one of those stories, huh? Suits you to be a dreamy little romantic. Oh, dreamy little romantic. How they hook up. What? No, it's nothing like that. There was no hookup. Actually, she ended up marrying somebody else. Of course, it's like a love frick. ... And I resent that remark. It's prettily grounded in reality. Thank you very much. It's probably not. Getting a little worked up over a bunch of fictional characters, are you? Well, I was a little sad when they didn't get together in the end. Well, as all novels... My gosh, I can't even come up with great points. That's besides the point. I think that proves the point entirely. Well, that's a point in my favor. Seeing her get pouty like this is its own reward. So what do they do then? Do they just walk away from each other, never seeing each other again? Most sappy romance seem to end on that sort of note. That's the thing. The protagonist had come from a higher background, and he had the opportunity to study, to join a university and pursue a career in law. I give that guy good luck going into that industry. Arome was a poor, incredible girl working on a farm. She was the root to her working conditions for the most part. And so they ended up drifting apart in adulthood. That's the same in my life. That's the way things are. I don't think I could make out the faces of the rest of the kids I went to secondary school with. That's agreeable, buddy. University is too big to stay stuck in one place. If anything, nothing changed in that regard. Funny that you would mention that. When I was reading, it felt like the world was changing too. Or maybe it was the boy himself who was changing. In the first book, it got so more emotional that how they described the beautiful landscape of the sweeping field. And then, when they moved into the town, it was all about business, economics, trade. It was as if the characters were defiled by the work they did. Oh, defined. Oh my gosh. And they were all very homesick. I can relate. You can get some bum jobs in this economy, and reminding yourself that your job is all you can do to get through the day.
Passenger sir, if I may, do you ever get homesick?
Who, me? The look Bypass gave to me was complicated, filled with curiosity and at the same time concern. Doesn't look that way. Looks like she's about to give you a stern lecture.
I mean, to come all this way out here, it's hardly a residential sector, and
well, you're clearly drifting through space, so I'd say yes.
I can say I've felt the feeling. As far as I've known, the ship is it's simply where I've always been. On the other hand, you've travelled a lot. Maybe you could explain the feeling.
I don't know if I could. It's like, I guess home is where you leave a part of yourself, and it's like no matter how far you go, a part of you is always going to be there, waiting for you. Is where you grow up, yeah? And those memories, they don't ever go away. No matter how much you wanted them to. That's what I thought, but for some reason I couldn't say it out loud. Didn't seem especially prevented. Biped nodded in agreement, regardless.
It's funny. The ship's a part of me, you could say. I don't think I could ever leave it, but that's okay, I think. I mean, I have plenty of recordings. I know a lot of people were happy to fly with me. I can't forget their faces.
Oh. I wonder if we'll ever see one of those recordings, or hear mention of it.
Literally, they are stored in my quantum memory. Ha ha.
She let out a mental chuckle. I couldn't help but grin in the response.
I don't know. This is kind of like my home, in a way. I mean, I've been here so long as I can remember, and I have pretty good memories.
Okay.
I don't think I could ever leave it behind so easily. I mean, it's my directive, right? To be here?
Her voice was getting lower.
I guess I won't really understand that feeling myself. All these recordings just got me to think about how different from the others I really am. Humans, they get to drift from one place to another, while I'm rooted here, shackled in functions and code and processes.
I'm pretty sure you could come up with your own way of traveling. Like, if you record everything, you could just record what planets you go to, pull up the databases, etc.
I guess all the people have to move on eventually, but at least I managed to help them along their way, right?
So you really want to get out of here?
I am not sure, honestly.
She flashed me a small smile.
I like helping people, and I am able to do that right here. And there are so many photos, stories and memories in these databases. At the very least, I can witness the cherished memories of stories of others. As for me, I have plenty of records and recordings and logs, but no real memories to call my own.
She clutched her head, rubbing it thoughtfully.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking things.
I don't know. It sounds to me like you want to get out of here and live a little. Doesn't everybody? Which would be understandably hard to get around in your current state. But I don't think it's impossible. Huh? I was joking around when I said it earlier, but if they end up deeming you unfit for service once we're rescued, you can travel with me. I'm not exactly glamorous, you see, the life I live, but there's a lot of sitting and waiting around to get where you want to be. But at the end of that trial, there's incredible sights. Looking at an old photo is not the same at all. And you'll be making memories, yours alone. ... I wasn't exactly sure where I was going with that. Sounded like a nice idea. I was trying to say it, but she was pretty attached to her position as a personal navigator. She could be your personal navigator. I'll throw myself out. Bypass simply stared at me for a while, for a few silent, awkward moments. And for the second, I wondered, maybe I said something incredibly stupidly forward. I mean, this was supposed to be a favor. Tense, I rubbed the back of my neck. If something like that sounded okay to you, I mean, I wouldn't mind. It sounds like a wonderful idea. Wait, really? Bypass was brimmingly with joy. I never exactly got to, talk with people this much, but now I guess I already have a few memories I can call my own. If it's alright with you, I'll hold them close. You don't really need to ask for permission for anything like that. Sorry, force of habit, I suppose. You should have had her with her tongue out. Cheeky tongue out. I guess that book just got me thinking about how humans hold their past close to themselves. They never really forgot, and it sticks with them for their whole lives. I mean, you're not gonna forget about our trip, right? She turned to me with a teasing pan in her voice. I shuffled slightly. I have no idea how I could. I muttered and then chuckled. Angrily, I have to. Spending that time chatting with Bypass, drifting with her into space, accomplishing her on our voyage through the ocean of stars. I wonder how long I slept this time. That was the first thought that popped into my head as I parted my eyelids to expanse of stars that might as well have been the same ones I fell asleep counting. Even with centuries of entertainment to fill the void, time began to lose its coherence. Minutes blended into hours, which melted into days. Such is the fate of man in space, which I suppose is why cryostasis was invented, quickly to pass the long intervals between departure and arrival. What could otherwise drive you bonkers is probably like at most been 2 days. The second thought occurred to me as I struck away into my seat. From an AI, Bypass was the one hell of a singer. No wait, she said 12 hours. No, yeah, it probably was about 2 days. Or a day. I straightened up my chair and opened my eyes to see her facing the windscreen. Her back turned towards me. She was singing an old familiar melody, the one I must have dozed to times as a kid in movies and cartoons. Her voice gave it grace, but that I never knew it could have. Beautiful dreamer, wake up on me. Starlight and dewdrops are waiting for thee. Sound of the rude world heard in the day. Lullaby day by the moonlight. Have
all passed away. Her arms hung by her sides as she swayed gently in time with each line, and for a moment I forgot she wasn't human. Why wouldn't AI move so gracefully through the tune of the song? I was doing so well singing that until near the end. Oh my god. Alright. I am clearly starting to enjoy this now. Why wouldn't AI, even a sentient one, sing, for that matter? It was some sort of lullaby meant for me? I don't know how long I was out, but she couldn't have sung me to sleep. My periods of sleep and wakefulness might have been starting to blend together into one intentional blur. But there was no way I could have forgotten the voice of the genuine. So sweet. Awake upon me, beautiful dreamer. Awake upon me, awake unto me, beautiful dreamer. Awake upon me. Then again, maybe the point was to wake me up. She seemed unaware that her song had genuine audience, but perhaps she wasn't. I had never paused to consider how lonely Bypass must have been when I slept. When I was being conscious, she had someone she shared her feelings with, someone to relate her excitement, as if she had digest volumes after the volume of human history. But for that duration of my slumber, she had been left alone with no one to share those new experiences with. Whether she intentionally to wake me up or not, I decided I wouldn't do or say anything that might interrupt her singing. And so, hoping not to draw her attention, I sat perfectly still. Doing so was easily, as with every new verse, I found myself more captivated by her performance. Entranced by the flowing red hair and dress, they swayed with her body in the music. You should praise the writer for being able to write a good song, or find one. Just a hologram, gazed out into the depths of space, singing with more emotional sincerity than any human being I had ever heard. She turned around mid-verse, and so I quickly leaned back into my seat to pretend I was asleep, leaving my eyes open just enough to see the dreaming smile on her face. She was practically glowing. Beautiful dreamer, beam onto my heart, earnest the moon on the steamlet and sea. Then will all the clouds of sorrow depart. Beautiful dreamer, awake upon me. She finished her performance with a content sigh and opened her eyes. I think with this I'll leave it here. I want to leave it on a great note. If you want to see more, please subscribe, leave a like, and I'll see you all in the next video!